Got a copy of this for you.
Oh, is it your book?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Perry gave me one. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's great. It's great.
full nuclear strike the next 3 months.
Well, it's about time for it to happen.
Yeah. I feel like even the last 2 terms, I always relatively held back punches, right? And even then it was portrayed as I'm doing too much. You know what I mean? I'm evil. I'm this and that. But in reality, I just always believed that people should be given an opportunity to correct.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's a state on the line.
We've both been given people the benefit of the doubt of, we'll come together and find an agreement, a middle ground. We're all figuring things out as we go for the most part. And so a little discussion can go a long way between them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sure as responsible adults, we can come to an agreement on what's best for the city.
Yeah.
But the last month has proven to me that's completely incorrect.
Agreed. Yeah. It just, it just continues to feel like I should not have to ask justices to show up to debate them on matters that they have very little input in.
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying they should not have a voice, but it's like they genuinely feel like we need to beg them to change, right? No, it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
Just as I shouldn't beg the chief of police to please do his job, right? Which I'm going to be honest with you, that was the end of that's what happened at the end of my second term. I was finding myself begging Moss to hold her PD accountable, right?
Yep. It's
I'm putting in Turner.
A great job, in my opinion.
Yes, agreed. That's why that decision was made. And at the end of it, you know what she tells me? You never believed in me, she says. I was like, what the fuck?
You believed in her too much.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I'll tell you, it's a stark contrast between Moss and Turner. Like,
yeah,
anytime I got a call from Moss, she was expecting obedience and a response. It wasn't a cooperative agreement between two heads of two different agencies. And if you countered what she expected, it was immediate hostility.
Really?
And I was like, oh yeah. But Turner will listen. And I feel like he respects our positions and the understanding of how things are. Like, we get complaints brought to us all the time about cops, right? And I'll tell you, 70% of them don't really fall under the pretense of the marshals. Like, it's usually professionalism complaints, things like that.
Give me just a second. I just got to think of something real quick.
Yeah, okay. Get your mind in order.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
You said your job a lot of times.
Yeah, most of the time, like, we get a ton of complaints about police and stuff like that, but I'd probably say 70 to 80% of the time it's not within the purview of the marshals, because it's usually like professionalism complaints, or SOP violations, things like that, and that's an internal problem. So we'll do a quick little look through to see if there's anything criminal involved. And if it's not, then we hand it off to high command of that department to handle as an internal thing. And that happens a lot. And I think Turner especially has been very receptive to that and being like, hey, we see this. It's not really like we've just done a glance over. It's not really within our purview, but it's something you should know. And we've kind of been like a screening process for valid complaints to their department in a way.
Makes sense.
And it's been pretty successful. And he'll bounce off theoreticals and questions and stuff like that. And it's good to get those second opinions and things. And I really appreciate that. Even if he doesn't agree with me all the time, he will, still ask. It was great. In comparison to Moss, who would call me with a hypothetical, and if I gave her my true, honest answer, and she disagreed with it, it was hostility, and you're just trying to get one over on us. You called me asking for advice for my opinion. What do you mean? But
I do think she held understandably, some damage from the previous administration.
And I get that, but there was 2 months where I was literally the only marshal.
Yeah.
Quite literally every other marshal disappeared. There was no Dark, there was no Angel, there was no anybody.
Yeah, and I understand
and
that.
And to still hold that against me sucked.
Yeah. A lot of people can't reset their anger.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even to this day, I still hear East Side Baller references. A lot of times I'm like, yeah, I don't think y'all were around when that shit happened. You know what I mean? I was like, how the fuck?
Yeah, that's true.
Must have seen it on the news, you know?
Yeah. They scroll through TikTok and see the memes targeted at millennials, and these Gen Zers are like, I get this. I'm going to research this, and now I'm going to make it mine because millennial jokes are funny.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
So, what's going on with the? I saw you text, and I figured probably better we talk in person.
Yeah, probably not the best text. I'm sure that's going to be hilarious the day that we get subpoenaed.
True.
Man, I don't even know at this point. God damn it! You need to take that.
It's Gary. I'll have him come down. I'm sure you can listen in on this. Hey Gary, I'm down at the resort. I'm talking to Barrett. But
okay.
come on down, and we're gonna have a chat with you afterwards.
All right, Gabby. On the way.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a funny conversation. I mean, you heard the Yui tape, right?
Oh my god.
It's just so I don't know what to do. Like every day seems to add more evidence to what I once thought was a brain dead hilarious meme theory that the DOJ is AI chatbots from a year ago.
Yep.
But
it is treason.
It's more legitimate every fucking day.
Listen, you should talk to Quantum and ask him what was said in front of him.
Ask anyone. It's the wildest shit.
Yeah.
I told you about the discussion with Weiss, right? In front of Violet, where he was like, yeah, we should pull the records of all voters and see who voted for which mayor and see how many of them are felons so we can use that as ammunition against the governor, against the mayor.
I don't...
Like, yeah, only felons are voting for you. And I was like,
it's actually
excuse
insane.
The fuck out of me? I was like, are you fucking serious? No. And Jaina's impeachment, like, don't get me wrong. Personally, I love Jaina.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really, in the impeachment result I was hoping for would have been just public censure of, Jaina, you did bad, do better. Thumbs up emoji. Right?
Agreed.
The result of that impeachment hearing was almost the nail in a coffin for me. And I know not many people see it because they see it as the marshals going after somebody using their tools. Impeachment is not a tool of a marshal. Impeachment is a tool of the people. We just get a special little circumstance because we get a cheaper fine. But you think about it, any citizen of Los Santos can impeach any sitting person, but it requires $250,000 to do it, Nino. And you can imagine $250,000 to most everyday citizens is not chump change. That we are talking a month of hard labor just to be able to raise your hand and say, hey, I think something's wrong.
Yep.
Can you imagine the blowback that would have occurred if that was an impeachment hearing started by a normal everyday citizen, a food worker, or a lumberjack or something like that, any one of our normal citizens who just live out there. And the result that they hear is, yes, something was wrong, but we're going to officially and publicly declare that nothing was wrong, is literally what they said. I mean, not the exact words. They said, yes, we find reason to impeach her, but we are not going to impeach her. And instead, we are going to handle it behind closed doors. And I spoke up and I clarified, even though it wasn't my impeachment, it was Dark's impeachment. I was there for security, right? And I spoke up because that was infuriating to hear. And I said, I just want to clarify for everybody. Can you please clarify? What you are saying is, yes, we find reason for impeachment, but we are not going to impeach her. And they said yes, without any uncertainty.
Are they?
They literally just told the state. Can you imagine if that was a normal citizen who dropped $250,000 to start the impeachment? How much of a finger to the entire public, to the entire state that would have been?
Oh my God.
And I feel like it got blown past a little bit because it was a marshal doing it.
I don't think so. I heard about this and I'm like, that's
appearance.
insane. I mean, I agree.
Literally it is unconstitutional.
Agreed. I agree.
In my opinion, it is treason.
You know what?
When you consider the verbiage of treason, the verbiage of treason is circumventing the laws and legislation. They are actively now circumventing the laws and legislation. They are actively not doing their duties.
You know what? I bet if you took the penal code change, right? If you take the evidence about the warden change, if you take the statement made by Weiss, if you remember, about criminals shouldn't vote, and you take this and probably other things and you pin them together and then hit them with treason. Because one would argue that they should know this better than anyone else. And they're actively going against it.
Yeah.
Because I'm even like, because I'm with you 1,000% as soon as I heard about this. I was like, wait, so they did their own impeachment, DOJ impeachment? No, they didn't file it. At first, that's why I got confused. I'm like, wait, did they file it? Because why would they just say, we're going to handle it internally? What does that mean?
It's crazy.
What does that mean?
It's literally out of public view. And that's the worst part, Nino. The worst part, do you know what they actually found her at fault for impeachment for?
No, what?
The scenario which they found her at fault for impeachment was for illegally throwing out a search warrant. Because she threw out a search warrant in a civil case. Yes, that's what the impeachment, that's what
I thought it was over I looked at the docket. I thought it was
the state announcement one?
State announcement, yeah.
No, they threw that out because they claimed statute of limitations. It didn't meet statute of limitations, so they threw it out completely.
Wait, then what? Wait, hold on. Then what's filed?
It was for the Reggie Might search warrant because Reggie Might was suing us in court because he claimed that there was a whole thing where it was Jaina and Moose Knuckles and Ava, right? And, you know, in order to throw out a search warrant, it requires a justice and 2 judges. They only had a judge and 2 magistrates, which didn't meet the qualifications. And they threw out a search warrant, but they threw out a search warrant which didn't even matter because it was a civil case. The civil case, they decided to throw out a search warrant. The only thing that happens when you throw out a search warrant, or if you challenge a search warrant and it gets overturned, it dismisses the evidence from it. There were no charges pressed. The search warrant didn't come up with anything. So they literally overturned a search warrant for no fucking reason in the middle of a civil suit. Not even the criminal suit, in the civil suit. And that's what she was impeached for. Was for exceeding the mandate of your office.
Wait, let me read this real quick. On 11th of March, Magistrate Pierce was on a panel of judges for the case. Okay. Devereaux, Knuckles, Pierce, and Grayson, who was in this case, said Magistrate Pierce was involved in the overturning of a warrant. Judicial officials exceeded the mandate of the office.
Yeah, they exceeded the mandate of the office by throwing out a search warrant when they didn't have the authority to throw out a search warrant. And not only that, did they not have the authority to it, there was no reason to throw it out because it was a
Did they have a
suit,
justice?
A justice initially took it because Arcadia was a justice at the time, but she withdrew and handed it over to Ava, who wasn't feeling well, so she brought in Moose Knuckles.
Then why was this filed only against?
Because that was step one. So we have pending things against Moose, but it's a huge stack of them. And like every day we get more and more that keep stacking up. Ava, that was her only one, so we couldn't really see gross negligence on it.
Okay, appreciate it. Brother, what the fuck is happening?
And
this is way worse.
That is textbook exceeding the mandate of your office. Am I wrong? And they agreed. This is exceeding the mandate of your office. And they said, yeah.
No, but this is exceeding the mandate of the Constitution. Right over here. Yes. What do they mean? We're going to handle it internally.
Yep. What the fuck? They could just say impeached. And that's it. That's literally all they could have done. That's all they had to do was say, yes, we find grounds for impeachment. Jaina, you did wrong. Do better. And that's it. It would have been a successful impeachment.
Yeah.
And it would have been like, yes, impeachments work. Impeachments have shown that the DOJ can acknowledge when they do wrongdoing and that we pledge to do better. That's all they had to do. But instead,
my God.
They signaled to the entire state that we cannot be held responsible. We will protect our own, and we will defend it, and we will never admit responsibility. That's exactly what they signaled.
I am so fucking confused. You know, the thing that kind of pissed me off is that we have two justices sitting there, right, overseeing a case and not being like, maybe we should have been here training her. Because I'm gonna be honest.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah. Why?
Because she brought it up in the court, and they blamed her for not seeking them out to train them.
What?
When they're never in the fucking state.
Bro, these people are fucking absolutely fucking cooked. They are fucking cooked. They are fucking cooked. Well, what the fuck? That's the equivalent of a cadet being like, why didn't you come and, get your FTO lessons? You know what I mean? How is someone supposed to know? How are they supposed to know what they don't know? How do they know they need training in something that they don't know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy
and yet they still
fuck.
And yet they both are the ones who want to argue that they can't come into the city because they'll be conflicted on everything, which is the stupidest, nonsensical, excuse, because Murray is in the city all the fucking time, and he takes 90% of their court cases. And how can you tell me that by being in the city you're conflicted when he's taking all the court cases when he's also in town? Your argument doesn't make sense. It doesn't hold water. We can't hold these people accountable because we never get to see them face to face. They never integrate with the community. They have no pulse on how the community is as a whole. And yet they want to make decisions for everybody. And then then Weiss saying that the whole thing about, oh, we need the 3 powers because we're the only people who can be trusted to maintain all 3 levels of government. I am actually I am. Is it treason to try and go after somebody for treason? Is where you have to start considering things of like, these are the questions I've had to start asking myself in the last 24 hours. Is going after for somebody for treason when it's a member of the government?
I think it's a pattern. But the thing is, rebellion or insurrection, unless others are the justices.
Or an individual who attempts to subvert the authority of the state of San Andreas through rhetoric, violence, or other means. The authority of the state of San Andreas shall be considered for the purposes of this statute to include the laws and legislation of the legislative authorities and the Constitution of the state of San Andreas.
Using official processes to contest legislation and other aspects of the legal system is not included in this charge. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that treason is maybe being too pedantic. Because it would really need to...
Like, I'm seriously worried about them trying to charge me with treason for holding them accountable. Because at this point, I don't know what to do. They're quite openly, completely ignoring the laws, legislations, expectations, and the mandate of their office to just subvert process.
You're right. You're not wrong about that. I see the argument you're making. I'm sort of on the fence on this because who would oversee this trial?
It'd have to be the governor. And at what point do we say there is no trial that can be had because the people who are holding the trials are the ones committing treason? Then what do you do? We end up with another insurrection.
My argument would be that you need a pattern. And that pattern is going to be hard to substantiate beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think instead you should impeach under the grounds that this negligence is unintentional treason. You see where I'm going with this? Because if it becomes a criminal matter, even though I agree with you that it is treason, proving beyond a reasonable doubt is not going to work. You're not going to be able to pass the line.
Yeah. Well, do you want to, let's hear Gary out real quick because he's been waiting a bit.
Yeah,
He has a little bit of input to give on this whole process.
Hey, Gary. Gary, whenever you have a sec.
Sorry guys. Just checking out some of these laws and legislation, mumbo jumbo, paperwork, contraband sweeps, What's going on? What's the scuttlebutt? Because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Completely lost.
Based on timing and everything, I think you were used as a political chip in order to make the assertion to the governor that unanimous decisions by the judiciary is possible. And you got politicked.
Yeah, but I could
but that's my opinion. I don't want to speak for Barrett
right now and pee in the ground. Anything's possible. But what was the reason? What was the need for this? What was it? Just a swinging dick? Like what does this accomplish for the general public doing this?
Well, if it's okay, I want to start off with Gary. The message from Peters feels taken advantage of. a little
Yeah,
bit
he
because
spoke to
from
me.
the Department of Justice.
He's a good
You already
guy.
spoke to him?
Yeah, he's a good guy. I have
Yeah.
no problem with Peterson. In the end, he's doing his job.
Yeah, he was trying to start a process to actually determine if there was a reason for the inquiry, right? And that's a good way to text him and be like, "Hey, you have 10 days." Blah blah. It was
But then I
it was
texted him the
worded a
day
little bit more
I
extensively.
texted him the day after, like literally the day
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, and so he was gonna feel rectified and no, there's no means for this. I mean, you talked to him, so you know, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what occurred that I wasn't like privy to. It's something like what if somebody uses a pun, like isn't there some type of like backlash that they could receive? Like, send it. It's not conspiracy, but right? There's no conspiracy.
I will say we are taking the matter very seriously.
Well, this is crazy because I didn't get a chance to tell you. Like the lifers, they want to kill the appointed interim warden because of the change. None of the guards like her. None of the inmates like her. None of the lifers like her. She doesn't know anything about the workshop, which is the majority of our activity over there. And she was asking things that are clearly outlined in the highlighted yellow in the SOPs. It's not good. It's just it's like they appointed them because I put her next in the totem pole. And from what I understand from the meeting, she was plainly asked, "Yui, do you want to be warden?" Like there was no no transfer, no understanding, no transparency, no communication, no indication that anything was wrong. It was just kind of like a drop of a dime thing. And like, but what am I supposed? How am I supposed to fight that? What am I? They could do what they want when they'd like, right? I was interim for a reason. I'm just for my own fucking clarity. I'm trying to figure out what was the what did I do something? If
To
I
be honest, I don't
didn't,
know.
then I'd like to like try and right. I wasn't told anything about anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you directly, Gary. We interviewed Yui afterwards, like the couple of days afters, because even the marshals were curious what the fuck happened. And that interview result itself was a little shocking because she didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up to get on duty. And the lifers are like, "Oh, Gary, you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing great. What's going on, guys?" They're like, we heard you're not the word anymore." And I'm like, "Excuse me, what? What?" So the lifers knew. Does that mean that it was like an inside job or something? I don't.
And I found out from you after you found out from the lifers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. All right. I just like It's not going to stop me from doing my job, right? I expected this to happen at some point. To be honest, Scotty warned me, and so did Carmine. And I know how politics, happen.
No.
But the DOC.
Well,
has
wait,
got
hold on. Don't get
no
crazy
support.
there. The
Well, I know,
DOJ is not a political entity, according
Well,
to
I know,
them.
You're right.
No. It's I'm being sarcastic.
They're just a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The DOJ they provided no support to the DOJ since Arcadia left. I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Well,
Not a hey, how you doing? You got decent toilet paper? Nothing.
I can tell you that, and I say this because my team FOIA'd this. They voted. Actually, I'm gonna leave it to Barrett. I don't want to. I know that there might be things that are being cooked. So, Barrett, you tell them what you think is appropriate.
On what?
Like when the vote took place in relation to everything. I don't.
There was a vote in relation to everything. What is anything? What is the everything?
Oh yeah, I mean,
what the hell is
he
going
deserves
on?
to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big transparency nerd. They voted. You remember when the governor meeting happened? The governor came in and talked about the
I was
impeachments.
aware of it. Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, apparently they took that vote during that meeting.
But what occurred?
We don't know.
Before
We
Yui
don't
knew,
know.
right?
Here's the mind-numbing part, right? The Department of Justice justices, they unanimously elect both the director of SASM and the warden of DOC. The same process. They have not put in a new director of SASM because they have been fighting with each other and saying that, well, in order to make sure we make the best decision, we must ask for potential candidates to step forward and then interview them all. Now, keeping in mind when they publicly announced that they were going to do that was March 20th. I have still not had my interview, even though there were 3 justices yesterday.
Well, there's been 3 interim wardens, and I never got an interview during that process. So, I mean,
yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man?
So they have been obsessing over this. Well, it requires a unanimous vote, so therefore we need to make sure we take all the time and consider all options and interview and look at every single person involved, because putting the person that's going to be in charge of one of our agencies is an extremely important task that we must take seriously. But then when it came down to the DOC warden, they just threw it out there without getting any interest forms, without making any interviews, without any discussion.
But
it was
why? Was there a problem?
UE didn't even. We don't know because they won't say anything.
Oh my god.
UE didn't even know. UE had no idea. She got called up by Weiss, not even really knowing who Weiss was, and thought she was going up there to talk to him about the state of the prison, because they had brought up some concerns with the marshals, and that's what brought up Peter's thing, right?
And that's good.
Because Peters was trying to.
We're supposed. You guys are corrective oversight. We're supposed to be interplaying back and forth, making each other better. That's part of the whole. It's not immediately punitive. Okay, well, Sam, get a new one. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That's how we work. We receive complaints, and we start putting out feelers to determine if those complaints have any valid standing. And we were still in that phase of determining if those complaints had any valid standing.
So there was a complaint?
Yeah, there was a complaint about you not being around, but I was like, I've seen Gary around. He comes around really late at night, and he handles his paperwork. And it was, yeah, that's what it was. It was Gary's not around. But I was like, I was like, if anyone had asked me about that, I could tell them I have messages from Gary like almost every other day.
Fuck? I've been spending like 15, 20-hour days in that fucking workshop. They could suck my ding-a-ling. What are they talking about? I'm not around.
Yeah, but that's why we were starting to do those steps.
I took a week off from being here for 14 hours a day. Fucking sue me. Jesus.
Yeah, and yet these justices will take 3 months off, and that's not too much.
And I even asked all my people in high command before I took my week off. When there were things that were needed, people that needed hired during my week off, I hired people. I gave people keys. I did all the paperwork that was needed to onboard people. Filled out the roster. Above the stuff I got to do, to onboard people. So if there was a concern during my week of quote unquote not being around that stopped the corrections facility from working as it should, then let me know. That's not what occurred. That did not occur. I mean, during that week, I was doing my job still. Like, what? Mm-hmm. The lumber company deal didn't just fucking pop up out of nowhere, right? It's my next question, gentlemen, okay? So, I pay for that facility, okay? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked at the map in a long time, but I mean, I wonder if that could be privatized, right? I mean, come on. They want to screw with me, I'll screw with them. I'll do it.
Don't go that far. It was paid with DOC funds.
Because says who, right? Says who? We can just make up things as we go along, right? It's fucking ridiculous.
It's in the ledger.
Yeah, I know it is.
So it would have to go to DOC.
It's ridiculous to me that it's 20 for 20, right? What are we doing here? Like,
this fucking guy, bro.
I would like to know. 10-4. I would like to know if there was a time where I was on duty. I'm good. And I didn't do my duties aggressively.
No, I mean, not that we were found, but like I said, we had only just started doing the beginning phases of getting the feelers out and determining if there was any reason for
was there a concern? Was there a lifer that came in? I heard of one concern.
Let me put DNA. It was so early that you weren't even on the case board yet.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's how early the investigation was we hadn't even validated the claim. You weren't even on our case board. And our case board currently is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. We have 29 open cases, and you weren't one of them.
So then how was the decision made? Isn't it not doing your job correctly or something? Is it like
It was made behind
closed?
closed doors.
Okay,
So we
but what the
don't
hell is
Yeah.
this?
We don't know anything. We don't even know how the penal code changed. We don't know how you got fired. We don't know how they come with any decisions. We don't know where they decided how you gonna impeach somebody and not have a goddamn conclusion to it. I don't think they know what they're doing.
All right, so who called them out? This was it. Who made them feel like they were, little
I did.
babies? Okay, there it is. There it is.
Just
They
impeached
didn't,
him.
they didn't like the way that was talking. They didn't like how that was talking. Thanks a lot, man.
I impeached them all, and they forced the governor to come in, and I guess they tried to swing it around in front of the governor
Yeah, you
to
wanna
show
hire
that
me
they
as a
did anything. All they
marshal?
did was show their incompetence even more.
What do you think? Gonna hire me as a marshal? Come on, field director. Come on.
Well, we'd have to address some of our other concerns with you first. You
I
don't like
did.
our problems with you.
I feel like
Right.
Chatterbox would do a better job than they have been. Yeah.
Just
Like, if you replace Chatterbox instead of Weister in that meeting, I think it would have been more productive.
I get so frustrated by hearing things like them saying that Danielson is an inactive judge and doesn't do it.
Oh my God, brother! I heard that this morning from him, and from Sean and or what? Maybe Gregson. It was brought up, and I literally almost blew a gasket.
I was
like-
like, are you fucking serious?
Like,
He
yeah.
does more than literally anybody. He does
Sean
more
is
than-
around so
than most of
often. He's paying their bills. He's talking to people, doing this and that, and like, what the fuck? You know what it is? They're just. Actually, I'm not going to use the word because it's got dual meaning. They are.
Well, now I'm curious. Jesus.
It's a certain type of workplace environment where you beat down on your subordinates to make yourself look better to the boss.
Oh, it's just straight up toxic now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not, bro. The entire fucking thing is just when. In what world are the Marshals and Nino working together? I mean, hey, Barrett, you and I have gotten along, but like last season, 2 seasons ago, it was like Marshals versus Nino. And-
6 years ago,
and-
I hated Barrett like last month or something.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I hated this fucking guy's guts, and then I realized he's just doing his job well. Call it
Oh
like
my
it is.
God.
I like that straight shooter.
Yeah, that's the
Crazy.
problem is a lot of people think it's personal when it's really
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
not.
doing my job, and I will do my due diligence, but there's a constant level of fairness I maintain in my mind.
Yeah, what do you guys need from me? I gotta get back up to the prison, right? Dereliction of duty and all, right? They don't want to get me again.
This is official capacity. We're looking
Yeah,
at an
right,
official
okay.
capacity discussion right now because your input into what's going on is directly affecting DOC at the
No,
moment.
what's
so-
unfortunate is I'm being told by lifers, being told by other guards that Yui's not even been around. So,
She was around this morning,
well, listen, it's
and she told me, "Please fix this. I don't know what's happening." I think it's important to state Yui took the role because she knew they were doing some fuck shit, and she was afraid that if it wasn't her, they could have gave it to some random person.
yeah.
So,
Yep. Flying Morden.
mhm.
No, they didn't yet. No. Well, I got it. There's 2 people riding around out there,
Hey.
cuffed.
All
You
right.
may not be the warden, but it's very important that Yui doesn't get hurt in all this. You know what I mean?
Listen, and I've been telling the lifers this because it's got nothing to do with Yui, right? This is politics. It's above all of us right now. Unfortunately, things are gonna happen, and everyone's like, even the fucking like, oh hey, what's going on, Warden? Everyone's still called me Warden, and I'm like, listen, guys, can we not? Because it's someone's gonna get stabbed, and I know it won't be me. So I'm gonna do my best to make sure she's safe.
Mm.
Like anyone. 10-4. Like
Oh, yeah.
anyone, right? But should I move forward, get a lawyer, do a whole ACR against Weiss, or what should I do here? Or is that getting a little too aggressive?
That's not aggressive.
No, it's not. An impeachment and an ACR, there's nothing aggressive about those.
Oh, but
All
and that's
it-
what I thought, except for mine, right?
Well, that's the thing is the concept of an ACR and an impeachment is not it shouldn't be taken as a hostile act, and it's unfortunate that they have set the standard that it should be. The idea and perception of a ACR or an impeachment is literally a general citizen being able to raise their hand and say, "Hey, something's wrong. Can we pay attention to this and see, am I crazy in this, or do other people agree with me that something's wrong?" It's a very peaceful process, but they have taken it in a completely wrong direction where they have directed it into being a hostile process. And it's almost in a defense mechanism where they're using that change in perception to protect themselves.
All right, well, you know
Because
what?
they don't want people to know that they are
I'm
wrong.
good. I'm gonna try and find a lawyer. Like I just had one of my guards say, "Hey, a judge is around. Try and find a lawyer." Like even my guards are like, "There's no lawyers around. Fuck. Who should I go with? Damn it. I don't know what to fucking do. This is crazy. I can't go with this Tony guy. Apparently, he's gonna try and be mayor."
Yeah. I got one final barrage of legislative change. Things got to be made better for everybody. Otherwise, the entire system.
No, I've got people with guns in the prison.
That is 78's call. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Oh my God! Imagine that.
you asked about a property.
Procopio 5.
I know
Looks like
Michael
picked it up
purchased
this month.
2 ? And they're not for the
He owns
program.
5 properties now.
Yeah, he's got quite a few. I think he might be holding for some folks. But I know 2 of those properties he offered it up. Remember the day where 15 of them popped up?
Yeah.
I think he bought 1 or 2 of them? ? And the ones in Polito we can't do, but I think he's gonna offer for a trade down here. I think, but
Got you.
yeah,
Yeah, he's got Procopio
technically
5, which is a house across the street from Danielson's house. And Polito Boulevard 11, which I think is just a normal little house property. I need to look it up.
what is it? Which one is it called?
Polito Boulevard 11. I need to look it up again.
Polito Boulevard.
It's a bar, the Bay Bar. It's a commercial property.
Oh yeah, I think I'm aware of that one. I think that one's his. It should have been another one too. No.
There is also, I mean, he has 2 in Mirror Park on Bridge Street.
Yeah.
He has Route 68, number 99, which, let me see what that is. That is a residential trailer. Wait, no. Route 6899 is a commercial building. What the fuck building is that? Oh, that's in Harmony.
Yeah.
The little gas station in Harmony. Near where old, what's it called?
Oh, maybe it is those 2. Or maybe he traded one already. I don't remember. I could have sworn he got 2 properties, but he's had these 4. The Procopio is the new one. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Procopio is the one. It's directly across the street from Judge Danielson's house. And they were asking about it because I know that one used to be owned by Alec Birkin.
Yes.
Sonia's group.
Yes, that is correct. So that one he's using so that in the event someone's got a house down here of equal value, we're going to trade it. So, but he's doing that as like a private,
he should have reached out to Danielson. Danielson has been swapping. He just
really?
Danielson had a house in Mirror Park. He was trying to find somebody to trade with.
Oh, he did it already?
Yeah, he just did. It's literally across the street from that house.
No.
He's on the second row now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was trying to get out of Mirror Park. He wanted to live in Polito.
God damn it. That's too bad.
Yeah. He probably would have taken that one too, because
I know we would have done that in a hot beat. Oh no!
Because the one Danielson had was like 2,100 square feet. It's still in his name because they haven't completed. They have to wait a couple days before they can sell it.
Yeah. That's too bad.
But Marlowe is going to be getting in custody of it. So it's East Mirror Drive 8 is the one that he traded off.
Marlowe, that son of a bitch. He told me he'd offer the county first.
Yeah, East Mirror Drive 8 is a gray house. It is a 3-car garage with 2,100 square feet.
Picked up the lumber company building.
Yeah?
Yeah. So that one, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. That one's probably going to turn into something big. So instead of it being a sale, it might be because it's a sick property. It might turn into like a prove your business.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't turn into a gang warehouse.
Yeah. I just into the details on Danielson's house that he's trading with Marlowe because they're just literally doing a straight trade.
Oh no, that would have been such a good trade.
It's a nice looking house too. It's a nice little spot. The backyard looks over the pond, I believe.
You know what I could do with the lumber union too? Could turn it into like a 3-owner business or something.
Yeah. Split it up.
Yeah.
How many doors does it have?
It's got one. Oh well. All right. Well, I'm gonna get back out there. Like I said about the treason thing, I agree that it's treason, but
is that the direction to go?
Well, it's more like
politics.
It's like we know it is, but proving it is gonna be impossible.
And then who judges it? If you're going after the justice system for treason,
well, it would be the governor, right? But even then, it would need to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And the problem is it's too easy to use doubt because you could argue it's not treason. It's being, sharing one brain cell.
I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm using the tools provided to me. Although, just the blatant disregard for procedure and process. The Jaina, the result of the Jaina case just blew my mind. It would have been less corrupt for them just to say that they don't find any wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
But for them to say, we find wrongdoing, we find a reason for impeachment, but we're not going to impeach her, is the most blatant,
oh my
open
God,
claim that we
bro.
don't care.
It's so bad.
About what you people say. You need a wax.
Yeah.
This car, not you.
Yeah, I'm going to actually get one. I'm glad you mentioned that. First thing I noticed when I came on by.
Well, lucky for you.
Oh, you got some?
Yeah,
Ooh.
of course.
Thank you very
all
much.
the marshals wax their cars. They get written up if they drive around an unwaxed car.
Really? Yours isn't waxed.
People to a very high standard. Yeah, it is.
No?
That's not mine.
Oh, shit. All right, never mind.
Coquette.
Oh,
I'm in the
shit.
Coquette over there.
Oh, shit. Makes sense. All right. Well.
Hell, I just gave Peters a parking citation for parking in the wrong lane of travel.
Hell yeah. All right.
At his own house.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Well,
all right. You be safe out there. I guess
you as well.
Have to figure out the next steps now.
Yep. Oh, boy. I definitely lean on impeachment.
Hey, the new changes in mayoral candidates. What's going on?
The San Andreas Election Act?
No. The candidates. Marty's now running for Blaine. He tried to run for Los Santos County and then stepped down from that as running for Blaine County. Marty fucking hates me.
What's the relationship?
I investigated and raided their 404 crew.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. I forgot about that. Wait, is this waxed?
It doesn't look like it.
What the fuck?
Did you clean it all the way?
Yeah.
Do you still have the wax bottle?
No.
Here, let me give it a shot.
All right.
I'm gonna sit in it first.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting battle. Marty versus Princess versus Tony. I think Tony's got to step down, if I'm gonna be honest.
I think Tony needs to step down and let Princess take it. As much as I appreciate Princess a lot, as much as I don't agree with her in her very short term, the crazy things she's pushed, I think having Tony up there is going to split the votes, and Marty's going to end up winning. And then I don't think Marty's going to. I don't trust in Marty to choose the best path for Blaine County.
I will say this: I spoke to him earlier. I think a big reason he's running up north is because he knows he's going to lose to me.
Yeah.
And I think you should. I actually see a lot of passion in him, believe it or not.
But is he going to fuck me over when all the shit I've already started to build in the north? Now I have to start looking for my own interests as well. You know, I live in Polito. I've invested a lot in Polito. I'd really like to make sure those investments don't go to waste when he's focusing elsewhere.
I do not know what your relationship is with him outside of, No, I mean outside of.
I don't care with him at all.
Well, what I'm saying is, I don't know how deep it is, right? I just know the raid, right? But I did not expect that much interest. Listen. He's already talking about getting business, like shaking the right branches to get business shit up and going, like actually getting construction in, right? I think he actually would bring economic life to Blaine, genuinely.
If he can get us a working hospital in Grand Sonora and a working kitchen to be able to cook food in the north, that is literally what we need to get started and to start working on ourselves.
I agree.
We have the people who are dedicated, and
I think you might
County are sick of having to go downtown to get food, or having a sick of going downtown to get medical treatment. I mean, freaking medical care is literally a constitutional right, and Blaine County is being left behind in that fact. It's very difficult for us to get medical treatment because we have to leave our homes and travel 10 minutes, travel miles down the road to get medical treatment. And we have a fully functioning hospital that's just not staffed in Sandy Shore. We just at the minimum, hire a local doctor to help us get that thing going. Would be the very bare minimum just to get things moving in Blaine County.
I feel like he would be able to pull that off. And I actually I only know him so much, but he was convincing. I'll say that. So
as long as he focuses on trying to better Blaine County and not trying to better him and his friends. That's my only
I actually think he wants I actually did not get that impression. I don't think he's in it to line his pockets. If he was, he wouldn't have gone from Blaine to begin with. What's he gonna do? Steal the last $10?
That's where I lose my focus on it, on him wanting to better Blaine County, because he started to run for Los Santos County first, and then realized he wouldn't win and went for Blaine County. And that already tells me he's not in it to help Blaine County. He's in it for the position of power. And that's where my mentality is. When I see those moves, that's what immediately comes to mind.
I think you're overthinking it. I think you're overthinking it, and I'll tell you why. Princess was Los Santos County until she ran. With Mumbles. Tony in the same boat. Everybody is. Princess is ex BBMC. And then
I know.
in Gorillas
be
and
married
shit.
to Dundee. I know. God damn it. I wish Los Santos County didn't have such a significant influence on Blaine County. I wish we could just finally form our own identity up there.
I think you have. And I think some of that identity thing is shared in many ways. How do you think I feel when BCSO comes down here?
Fucking disgusted because they are protecting their fucking county.
Yeah. How
the
do you?
biggest expense of Blaine County is the BCSO, and they don't even protect the county.
No, they don't. And then they impose their bullshit onto the PD. I hate it because I think law enforcement down here, like Los Santos, LSPD should be specialized in. We're dealing with this gang. This is like, oh, you know, the gang task force. Like, okay, we're gonna handle them this way and these people this way. And hey, there's more civilians living here, so we're gonna be more protective of this area. But we can't do that. Why? Because these fucking dumb fucks from BCSO, who are pretty much gangbangers, come down here to farm car parts.
Yeah, basically.
So,
All right,
hey.
man. I'm gonna let you get out of here. I know you got a whole fucking all kinds of shit going
Yep.
on now that you're running again.
Yep. Not wrong. All right. You take care, Barrett.
Let's make change, Nino.
Let's do it, baby. I actually think Marty's going to do well. The thing is,